Thank you, Madam President. I'm pleased to be here to join my colleagues in talking about why it's so important to pass this transportation bill. And I thank Senator Whitehouse for his efforts in organizing us. You know, in New Hampshire, we understand what Senator Klobuchar was saying about the importance of getting this bill passed so we can get our construction season underway, because we have a limited amount of time. But in only 17 days, this nation's surface transportation programs are going to shut down unless Congress acts to reauthorize them. In March, nearly 3/4 of this Senate voted to pass a bipartisan, long-term transportation bill that maintains current funding levels and avoids an increase in both the deficit and in gas taxes. This legislation is important as we look at roads and bridges and mass transit that are going to have support. It's important as we look at the jobs in the construction industry and manufacturing businesses that depend on our transportation system. In fact, the Federal Highway Administration estimates that for every $1 billion in highway spending, that we support about 27,000 jobs. I was really pleased last week to see an overwhelming bipartisan majority in the House vote to reject policies that would cut spending on roads and public transit by 1/3. If that had passed, an estimated 2,000 New Hampshire jobs would have been lost. I think that vote sends an important signal to members of the conference committee that a strong bipartisan majority in both houses of Congress should support funding for crucial investments in our transportation network. And I call on the House to work with the Senate in a similar bipartisan manner as we did in the Senate to pass transportation policies that put Americans back to work and that generate economic growth. We've seen it in New Hampshire, where we've got 29 construction projects that are going to be on hold if we can't get transportation legislation passed here. We've seen it with Interstate 93, one of our main corridors going up and down the middle of our state, which has been delayed because of the delay in passing this transportation bill. If we're unable to set aside election year amendments, if we're unable to set aside this partisan politics and come together to do what's right for our country and our economy and pass a transportation bill, it will be putting this country in a very difficult situation. The Congressional Budget Office has projected that the Highway Trust Fund will run out of money next year, sometime in 2013. We're not exactly sure when, but that will mean funding to states will face drastic cuts without any reauthorization to shore up that revenue. And were the Highway Trust Fund to run out of money, projects across this country would grind to a halt. It would decimate jobs in the construction industry. We can't afford that. Investing in transportation creates jobs, and it creates the conditions for our small companies to succeed. It should not be an issue about politics or partisanship. I urge our colleagues on the House side, because they're the ones who are holding this up, to come together and to pass a transportation reauthorization bill. Thank you very much, Madam President. I yield the floor.